Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, I'll fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky.
Okay, we're back. Welcome to the Professional Stepdad Show. I am your host, Franco Zavala. As always, thank you very much for joining me. This is episode 88 on the road to 100. Something I wanted to talk about today, something that came up, and I think it's important. Oh, before I go any further, if you have not, please like, subscribe, share to the show. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, the website, theprofessionalstepdad.com. So I'm going to jump right into this because got a busy day, Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all you stepdads, stepmoms, bio-dads, bio-mom, everybody. If you're a veteran, happy Veterans Day. Thank you very much for your service. Okay, so let's jump into this. So again, I have a house full of kids today because again, it's Veterans Day, so no school. I was talking to a gentleman last night over Instagram, and we were just talking about, so he's in his first 2 years of his journey. And I asked him to kind of break down some of the things that he promised before he even got started. And he made a lot of promises to himself. He made a lot of promises to his family. He made a lot of promises to his wife. He made a lot of promises to his own mother. And which is being optimistic is nothing, there's nothing wrong with being optimistic. You need optimism as a stepdad, especially if you want to maintain a level head and a clear thinking as you begin your journey. But it is important to remember something, and this is the most important thing. Don't make promises that you can't keep. Don't make promises at all. If you're going to make a promise, promise this. Promise to work your ass off every day on bettering yourself. Promise to get rid of your old habits and your old ways of thinking and the person that you were before you put your hand up and said, I will step up and I will be the stepdad. But try not to make promises to the kids, to your wife, to your family, or to yourself before you decide to do the work. And the reason for it is because you're going to be let down. You're going to let down yourself. You're going to let down others. Like I said, optimism is key. I love being optimistic, and there's nothing wrong with having great optimism as a stepdad and showing self-confidence in your ability to step up and be the leader of your home. But when you're making these promises, make a promise that is tangible, that is reachable. You could set a goal, right? You could set this goal to be the very best that you could possibly be, or you can set this goal to like kind of have like a benchmark in 5 years where you want to see your relationships with your kids and your wife and yourself. But when you make when you make promises that are too big, or you try to promise the world to, think about it like this. If you try to promise the world to kids that are strangers, because they're strangers, you don't know them, you're just starting your journey. You have no idea what they're like, who they are, what they're about, how to speak to them. And making promises that you can't keep will only make you look worse as time progresses, because you're saying, oh, I promise I'll do this and I promise I'll do that. And then something falls through. Kids remember, kids are smart, right? Kids are really smart. But making promises to your wife as well. I promise to always be patient, and I promise to take my time to being a good leader and a stepdad. And I promise not to overstep my boundaries. And I promise to always be open and honest with you. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit because unless you have already worked on yourself, unless you have already done the self-reflection and the self-work and breaking down your mental and your mental and your mentality as far as like how you're going to handle situations, how do you talk to people, how you handle the good times, how you handle the bad times. You can't make promises that you can't keep. So when you say something like, I promise to always be there to communicate with you, especially, as we grow our family or we grow our blended family, it's being optimistic about that promise is great, but you need to kind of like follow through with, I promise to work my ass off at communicating with you better, so that as we progress along this journey together as a team, that we can grow in our communication with the kids and with each other. And more important, I can grow in my responsibility to myself, so that I can promise you that I will always show up and be there even in the hard times. That's a promise. That's a promise that's tangible, that's reachable, that's obtainable. But more important, that's a promise that's saying like, I'm gonna fuck up, I'm gonna mess up, my mistakes are gonna be big and they're gonna be small. But as long as you're working, as long as you promise to work on yourself and on your daily habits and routines, and letting go of the old you, and letting go of the old way of thinking and how you were raised, remember, none of that works for a blended family. None of it. Fuck what you say. None of it works. You have to start clean, a clean slate. You have to. Promise yourself that you will work every single solitary day at bettering yourself, bettering your communication, growing your confidence as a man, growing your confidence as a leader, identifying what the little things that just kind of set you off, and identify the things that that you need to work on in order to be somebody that can communicate with your partner and can communicate with the kids. But more important is that you can communicate with yourself, because as you all know, you have those times where you second guess, you question, what am I doing here? Is this the right move? Should I have listened to Billy or Sandy or my mom? Or, should I have just jumped into this relationship with this woman that has 2, 3, 4, 5 kids? And when you start to ask yourself those questions, should I have? Did I make the? When you start to ask yourself those questions, you can, if you haven't already done the self-work, you can easily poison the well. So don't make promises you can't keep, especially in the beginning. Don't make promises you can't keep even 5, 6 years into your blended family, unless you have already done the work to connect, communicate, and collaborate with the children and with your partner and with yourself in a way that is only going to bring value and growth within your family. And if you are not there yet, stop fucking promising. Stop promising anything to anyone. Show up. That's the key, dads, stepdads. Show up. Show up. Be there. Listen. Shut up. Understand that most of the problems that you're having within the first 2, 3, 4 years, all the problems are self-inflicted wounds. Franco, what are you talking about, man? The bio dad is just he's real poisonous. And he, all he does is just tell the kids what a piece of shit I am, and how, I'm not good for their mother. And listen, you can't stop a poisonous bio dad from talking about you. You can't stop poisonous family members from speaking about you behind your back. You cannot stop it. But what you can control is how you react to it. That's the key. If you don't pay attention to the naysayers and the negativity, and you make a promise to yourself to block out the outside noise, to work on who you are, your mental thinking, and the way you handle problems. Look, people are going to hate you. People are not going to like you. People will find every reason under the sun to say you're not cut out to be a stepdad. What are you doing? They will try to convince you that maybe you should, maybe it's better that you just leave. Shit, your own mental thoughts will probably convince you. Maybe I should just go. Maybe it's better for the kids. And then you have a poisonous bio parent, and the kids have to go to, let's say, their house for a weekend or, every other week. And all they do at the dinner table is talk shit about you. And all they do is talk bad about you. The best way to handle that is when the kids come back and they bring it up, or you catch wind that that's what's going on. If you start acting like the bio dad or the negative bio parent is describing, if you start acting like this description, then they win. Kill them with kindness. The best thing you can do is be you. Be a better you. When I would deal with these situations, And I would hear from like one of my kids or something, you know, hey, so-and-so was really just doesn't like you. They were saying this, that, and the other about you. Of course, my first initial response before I started doing the self-work on me and understanding who I was, my initial response was, who the fuck are they? What do you mean? Who said that? I want a name. Like, I wanted to solve the problem and I wanted to add more fuel to the fire, and I was only proving their point. So what I had to learn was I had to take a step back and understand that I cannot control the thoughts and the actions and how somebody speaks about me. I can't control it. And if I think that I can, I've lost it. I can't control how somebody describes me to others. I cannot. But what I can do is I can be an authentic me. And if I'm authentic and I'm true to myself, and at my core, I know why I'm here and why I want to stay as a stepdad and why I want to be a leader, why I want to be valued, and how long it's going to take, and understanding patience. If I know at my core, then nothing they can say or do can affect who I am as a leader and as a stepdad and as a father and as a husband and as a man. Nothing they say can affect me, because I am not allowing that negativity within the four walls of my home and in my head as well. Nobody rents space in my head. Nobody. So when you're making promises, think about it. If you find yourself making promises that are really big, or shit, even you're in the first few years, in the first few months as a stepdad, and you're making promises that you probably are not qualified to make, stop it. Just look at your partner and just let them know, I promise to work my ass off on me. I promise to become a better me. I promise to work on my nonverbal communication. I promise to work every single solitary day to try to be the very best stepdad and leader and mentor and husband and father that I could possibly be. That's the promise I'm gonna make, and that's the only one I'm gonna make, because I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. I'm gonna screw up a whole bunch. I just need you to know that I'm not going anywhere. As long as you allow me to make mistakes, and as long as you understand that it's gonna happen, and we're gonna work through it, and we're gonna be a team, and we're good. So try not to make promises that you can't keep. All right, guys, this is episode 88 of the Professional Stepdad Show. Once again, if you have not, please like, subscribe, share on all the platforms. Theprofessionalstepdad.com is up and running. And I did get a confirmation from Scott D. Henry. We are going to set something up, so he will be the 100th guest on this show. And I am so freaking pumped about it. And not just because he's a stepdad, guys, because the energy that he will bring to the room, the positive energy that he will bring to the conversation is going to be so infectious that you will have no choice but to follow his journey. And it's an amazing journey. He's an amazing man. Once again, guys, I'm humbled and blessed that you've decided to listen to the show. Take what you can out of it. Go back into the old episodes. Take what you can out of that. Work your freaking ass off. Don't make promises you can't keep. Unless it's a promise to yourself to keep working every single day to become a better stepdad. Until next time.
Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.